Welcome to the VoiceMe Podcast, information and advice on the world of voiceover presented by voiceme.co.za, the South African search directory for voice artists and related services. I'm Andrew Sutherland, founder of VoiceMe, and in this episode, I'm talking about a subject that's been unsettling for a lot of us, the rise of AI in the VO industry, and what it means for human voice artists like you and me. We're going to unpack what synthetic voice technology can actually do, where it's being used, what the ethical concerns are, and how we, as real living, breathing professionals, can not only stay relevant, but also thrive. It's been almost 2 years since I spoke about AI on the podcast, so let's begin with a bit of myth-busting. There's a lot of noise out there about AI voices. Some say they'll replace us all, others say they'll never be good enough. The truth is somewhere in between. AI voice synthesis, in simple terms, is the process of teaching a computer to generate speech that sounds like a real person. They use deep learning models trained on thousands of hours of recorded voice data, and once trained, these systems can mimic tone, inflection, and even emotional cues with alarming accuracy. But, and this is a big but, they are mimicking. It's an imitation of speech. They are pattern matches. They can replicate rhythm, volume, pitch, and even hesitations. But they don't understand why those things are happening. There's no intention behind the breath. There's no lived experience coloring the words. You might have even heard an AI read something that sounded almost perfect until it tried to laugh or cry or stress a word sarcastically. There are subtle emotional cues that come from understanding the meaning and context of a script, and that's where the human element is irreplaceable. I want to share a story about a client of mine who experimented with using an AI voice for an e-learning tutorial series. It was clean, it was perfectly pronounced, and completely lifeless. Their testers described the voice as cold and hard to follow. In the end, they re-recorded the entire thing with a human artist. Why? Because they realized their brand tone needed warmth, humor, and empathy, not just words in the right order. Another case I heard about involved a marketing team who cloned one of their staff's voice for internal training videos so they could save money and push content out quicker. The AI version couldn't handle acronyms properly. It misread emphasis and botched the punchlines. They thought it was a massive time saver until they spent more hours regenerating bits of voice over and over and fixing mistakes than they would have with a real VO artist. That mistake cost them more money in wasted time and effort for their team than if they'd hired and paid standard pro VO fees and done it in the studio. They eventually did do that with me and have scrapped their entire AI experiment completely. So yes, AI voice tech is impressive. Don't underestimate it, but also remember its limitations. It copies sound, not meaning. It has no why. It does not feel what it mimics. If a voice can sound empathetic but isn't experiencing empathy, what is that performance actually missing, and where do we fit in? And here's the thing most discussions about AI miss. The client doesn't just want a voice. They want a feeling, a relationship, a moment of trust or clarity or humor or authority, something that feels right, not just sounds right. The human voice, your voice, carries far more than information. It carries subtext, intention, and style. It reacts to direction in real time. It responds to emotional nuance. You, as a voice artist, interpret the script. You don't just say the words. You decide how they should land. That is something AI is nowhere near replicating just yet. Clients are often seeking a collaborator, not just a narrator. I had a session recently where the client changed the tone they'd originally wanted mid-recording. They initially wanted upbeat and fun, but about halfway through, they decided they wanted it more grounded and sincere. So we restarted and pivoted on the spot. No AI can handle that kind of creative agility. I've also seen artists book repeat work not because they had the perfect first read, but because they listened, adapted, and improved in real time in the session. A pharmaceutical brand I worked with recently had an extremely specific compliance language that had to be said in a very particular way. The artist had to rework their internal gut feeling and phrasing during the session, often adding clarity without losing the tone. That back and forth collaboration was something only a live human could provide. And here's something else: improvisation. Humans can add a smile to the voice, a pause for effect, a chuckle. That kind of emotional texture is born in the moment. It's relational, not mechanical. You could try prompt an AI to laugh, but it'll sound psychotic without the right emotional context. Even in long-form work like audiobooks, the difference becomes stark. A real narrator makes choices, rising tension, pacing, letting a moment breathe. An AI reads with uniform weight. It can't build suspense or charm the ear because it actually doesn't understand the text emotionally at all. Humans make choices. AI follows instructions. So when people say AI will take over voiceover, I say maybe some of it, but not the kind of work where human connection matters. And connection always matters, especially in any public-facing content like commercials, e-learning, narration, and storytelling-based formats. That's where we as human voices are still irreplaceable, unless the client really doesn't care about their customers at all. And let's face it, if that's the case, that business will be out of business very quickly. I also want to talk about something serious for a moment: ethics, rights, and red flags in contracts. Some AI voice models are trained using existing recordings scraped from the internet. That includes podcasts, commercials, audiobooks, often without the consent of the artists involved. In some cases, voices have been cloned and resold without any form of permission or compensation at all. That's not just bad ethics, it's outright theft. There was a case recently, and I forget where I saw the post, but a voice artist discovered her voice being used in an e-learning app, I think it was. An AI clone built from clips pulled from her YouTube tutorials. She hadn't signed anything with the app creators. She wasn't paid. She only found out because a friend heard the cloned voice and called her to ask if it was her because it sounded so obviously similar. So as a voice artist, you need to read your contracts carefully. Look for terms like in perpetuity, all media known or unknown, synthetic reproduction, derivative works. These phrases can open the door to your voice being used in ways you never intended. Sometimes even well-meaning clients don't fully understand what rights they're actually requesting in their boilerplate generic contracts and NDAs. If you're unsure, ask the client to clarify. Ask what the voice will be used for and whether any AI training is part of the agreement, whether it's in the contract or not. Don't be afraid to say, I don't allow my voice to be used for synthetic reproduction or AI cloning. And here's a phrase I've often used in my own templates, although this is summing it up quite concisely. For clarity, this agreement does not include the use of my voice for training AI systems or synthetic reproduction beyond the original scope of this project in any way. That one sentence has likely saved a lot of awkward follow-ups. It's also a good idea to keep a standard clause like that in your own service agreements or proposals. Add it to your website and your booking emails. Repetition builds understanding, and the more that clients see this message, the more they'll know that they cannot do this without your permission. We all need to be proactive in protecting our voices, because if we're not careful, we could end up licensing away our entire vocal identity for a once-off fee, and that's not sustainable. What we're selling is not just a sound. It's a skill, a presence, and a professional partnership. If you're not clear about your voice rights, you're trusting strangers with your most valuable asset. So where does that leave us? It leaves us with an opportunity, because while AI might be able to replace some low-level, low-emotion jobs, it can't replace you. So here's how to future-proof yourself. Build a personal brand. Be findable, be memorable, and show your personality online. Clients hire people they trust, not just voices they like. Update your website, keep your LinkedIn profile active, share stuff. That digital presence builds recognition and authority. Offer value beyond the read. Can you edit? Can you deliver in multiple formats? Can you work live via Source Connect? Can you help fine-tune the script or even translate it? These are all ways to add value that an AI can't. You're not just a voice, you're a collaborator. Embrace what makes you different. Your accent, your sense of humor, your empathy. These are features, not flaws. Highlight them. If you're multilingual, flaunt it. If you have improv skills or a background in theater, bring that into your sessions. Be the artist only you can be. Keep learning. The more versatile you are, the more valuable you become. That includes different VO categories like commercials, narration, dubbing, etc., software tools like your DAW, and how audio recordings and plugins actually work, EQ, compression, denoisers and declickers, and even adjacent skills like script writing. Invest in coaching, attend workshops, keep learning. Build relationships. AI is solitary, but voiceover is social. Join groups, share advice, offer feedback. The more we connect, the stronger we all become. Clients remember professionals who are responsive, reliable, and real. So make working with you a pleasure, not just a transaction. Stay connected. Clients value professionalism and personality. And advocate. Talk about AI with your peers, with your clients, with your community. Encourage healthy boundaries and transparency. Don't wait for the industry to set standards. We'll be here for decades. Rather help shape those standards now. And finally, ask yourself this. If AI can mimic empathy but not feel it, what does that change about how we define authenticity in voiceover? Here's my take. If AI can mimic empathy but not feel it, then authenticity in voiceover is no longer just about how something sounds. It's about why it sounds that way. Authenticity isn't performance alone. It's presence. It's intention. It's the real-time decision-making, emotional recall, and contextual awareness that only a living, feeling human can bring. An AI might deliver the shape of a performance. It might simulate a laugh or a sigh, but authenticity comes from an internal truth, the artist's understanding of the message, the moment, and the listener. That's what builds connection. So perhaps the question reframes our definition. Authenticity isn't about flawless delivery. It's about emotional credibility. It's about whether the listener believes you and believes in you. And that's something no algorithm can replicate, no matter how good it sounds. And that's all for this week's episode. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me and my support team at support@voiceme.co.za. Leave a comment here or give me a call on 0861 VoiceMe. That's 0861 864 2363 if you're in South Africa. And to sign up for a VoiceMe profile, register from the homepage at voiceme.co.za. If you liked this episode, please like, share, subscribe, turn on automatic downloads, or click the bell icon to get notified so you don't miss our next one. And of course, you can like, follow, and engage with VoiceMe and each other on @VoiceMeSA on all social networks. I'm Andrew Sutherland, and that's it from me here at VoiceMe for this week. Cheers for now.